Sediment is solid matter, like sand or gravel, that is carried by water or wind. It settles on the surface of land or water. In this pond next to Lake Tahoe, you can see how sometimes sediment stays suspended on the surface of the water and sometimes it settles to the bottom. Here's an example. Look in this jar of water. When we add the fine sediment, what happens? Some sediment goes to the bottom of the water, some stays on top. 5 minutes later, there is still a lot of transfer going on. The sediment is suspended in the water. 20 minutes later, the water is still cloudy with sediment. Sediment shows up in all kinds of places. In roadside ditches, parking lots, on hillsides, and in creeks and streams. Sediment shows up in Lake Tahoe too.
What is that?
That's a storm drain. When the snow melts, it carries all the stuff from the roads to Lake Tahoe.
Yuck! That's gross.
Just as it did in the jar, some of the sediment settles to the bottom, but some stays on top or just keeps floating indefinitely. Scientists say it's the fine sediment that stays suspended in the water.
What fine sediment?
At Tahoe, fine sediment refers to particles less than 16 micrometers in diameter. That means it's dust about as big across as a human hair.
That's not a lot.
Nope, it's teeny tiny.
That dust on the floor, is that fine sediment?
You got it. It's so small that when you sweep it, it stays floating in the air. Those are fine sediment particles next to that sweeper. When it gets to the lake, fine sediment can float there for a really long time. Scientists and engineers are trying to figure out how to get fine sediment out of stormwater or how to keep it from getting to the lake in the first place.
Why?
Because fine sediment particles that stay suspended in the water scatter light. This makes Lake Tahoe less clear. As the water becomes less clear, a lot of other things start to happen in the lake. It's a big deal.